Hello and welcome back. I'm Lincoln, and today we're going to work on the coffin. This is the 9th day of my October3D sculpting challenge. I hope you guys have been following along and having a good time with it. I'm going to put up the prompt list right now. So at the end of this video, things got a little crazy and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Well, it was because my beta version updated itself to version 18 right in the middle of the video. So I just kind of stopped there and didn't do any painting or any more detailing to the coffin. If you guys would like to share anything you guys have been creating, please use the hashtags below at the bottom of the prompt list or in the description, and I'd love to see it online on Instagram. Hey, I know this video is a little bit long again. I'm going to have chapters like normal down in the timeline and the description below. So hey, let's grab your iPad, let's go make a coffin. Okay, let's go in and delete the default sphere. Delete that. We're going to add a box. And if things look a little different, it's because I'm in version 1.66. And I've explained that a little bit in other videos just so you guys know what's going on here. Let's go shrink it down a little bit. We'll go ahead and validate it. I'm going to go in here to the voxel remeshing and let's run that up to 500-ish, somewhere around 500. Keep the edges sharp, remesh. Okay, so now we're going to use the trim tool. Let's trim this a little bit. We'll leave symmetry on. Let's use line. And we'll just put a cut there. And then we need to turn off snapping because snapping's on right now. So let's turn off the rotate step. Okay. Now, you can try and get there, but you may have a hard time grabbing that one at the right spot. So it's easier to go up here and cut it this way. So you get a nice shape. Now it's a little funky at the top. So let's go a little bit more, oops, a little bit more here. There we go, that's better. I'm going to use the gizmo, shrink it in a little bit, and that looks pretty good. Alright, let's go to the side. Now, if we turn on the wire, you see that it's nice and uniform, but not here. So let's go in and remesh it again. A nice clean edge. As long as you keep edges sharp, it'll look good. Alright, let's turn off the wire. Alright, so I'm going to show you a trick because I want to do the bevels on this. So what we're going to do, I'll show you an easy way to do this. We'll grab the select mask, turn off symmetry, let's use the rectangle, and if we do it like this and we mask it, now when we turn it and we cut, it'd be much easier to line up and do. So let's click on the bottom so you're in the bottom view. Now, we want to cut an angle off on this, so we need to turn it like this and just get it lined up so that you have this area right here. So let's use the trim again. Now we're going to turn on rotate step and put, whatever angle. 22.5 is half your 45, so that's a pretty good one. But the cool thing about using your select mask on here is that, no, that's too much. So let's start here. We can tap right there. And you'll see you got 1, 2, let's do 2 steps. Turn on gizmo and you can see here, oh, did not have symmetry on. I needed to have symmetry on. Turn that back on. Line it back up again. And use the gizmo. And just get it lined up good. There we go. Use your trim. We'll start right here. So 1, 2 steps. Now if we turn on the gizmo, you see you got a nice cut. Now the other ones, the harder ones over here, go to the top view and do the same thing. Line it up until you get your line up for your cut. Right there. Trim tool. Touch right here at your masking. 1, 2 steps. And you can see there. Got your cut again. Go to the side. Do the same thing. Right there at your masking. Just the masking makes it easier to see where you're at. And that's that way you get a pretty even cut all the way around. Makes it way easier to do. 1, 2 steps. Now, if we look at the top, we have a nice beveled surface. Now you can leave it like that. You can trim it down a little bit. I'm going to trim just a little off the top of that because I don't like how tall that is. So easy to trim it off. We'll turn off symmetry, go to rectangle, give it a quick clip. There we go. And there it is. That looks pretty good right there. All right, now we want to adjust the thickness of this. So let's go to your mask, clear the mask. Where is it? Up here. All right, and then I'm just going to trim it off using the rectangle, and that looks about right there. And just eyeball it. That looks good. So you get a nice shape right there. So you can totally stop right here if you want. You can make all kinds of details if you like. I'm going to actually cut this off, and we're going to use the split tool. Before we do that, since we've done all these cuts, I'm going to show you that your wire mesh is all messy again. So we need to go ahead and remesh this again, clean it up. It's always good to keep that clean because we're about to split this and do extract meshes on here, so you want to keep it clean. So I'm going to use a split. We'll use the rectangle, and I'm just going to split the top off. So let's cut it right there. Looks good. So now we have 2 pieces. All right. Double tap that back. We're going to hide each one, and we'll go in here. So we'll hide one, and this one we're going to clone, and I'm going to hollow it out. So we'll bring this out a little, and it's really you see here, that's about how thick I want to make the lid. So that's the top surface in there. And right here I'll put a link to my hollowing video if you haven't seen it. It explains this a little bit more in depth, but this will get it right here. Now if you check the wire, you can see that's a little funky, so I forgot to remesh that again. We need to remesh so it stays clean. Now we'll clone it. Do it again. Trim the wire off, we don't need that. Bring it down. There we go. And it's just a matter of, where you want it to be. It's not going to be perfect cut and shape. You can get it set that way if you want, but it's going to be tough to do. So now we're going to go in and just got to figure out which one you have. It's this one. What's that one? Oh, we need to get rid of one. I've got duplicate in there somehow. Okay. So now we'll select those 2. Make sure you got it turned off on the one you want to get rid of. We're going to voxel merge them. Leave it about 550 and merge. All right. So now we have a lid. Let's turn that one off. Turn this one on, and we'll do the same thing. Make sure you got it selected. And this is the front view. So we need to probably remesh this one, yes. So we'll remesh that one. Turn the wire off, clone it, bring it out, about the same thing. And I'm only hollowing this out because later in the week I'm going to when I put this in the scene, I've got a fun idea for this, so I want to make sure that it's hollowed out so I can have it open. All right, there we go. So we'll do the same thing. This one will turn off, select that one, voxel merge them, and your voxel merge will be a little bit different. Voxel merge, and there we go. Now we have a hollow one. Now if we put them back to turn them back on, now, there you go. Let's go in and put some details on here. Click on the top. We're going to click into a view. We're going to grab select mask, use the rectangle. Now I'm going to put a band around the top. So we'll bring this down. And that looks good. And we're going to put a band right here. Let's put it right there. About like that. Will work. And does that have... Oh, that's good. So I want that one to be nice and smooth, so we may have to do this a couple times to get it right. I think we're going to mesh that one up just a little bit bigger. Alright, try it again. There, those look pretty clean. Now, if it has got a step on there, there's something else you can do. You can also blur them a little bit, and that will help sometimes if you need to, or you can sharpen them back up here. And that should be pretty good anyway. Alright, now on the top, I want to remove some of the masking. So I'm going to go into the select mask again. We'll go to the polygon. And the polygons are a little bit different. And this one, just how you get them started, but they're still pretty similar. And this is just a rough placement, and you can see you can change the point style by tapping on them. If they're black, they're a sharp corner. If they're white, they're a round corner. So that'll work. I want a little bit of room on here because I want to be able to put rivets on. And this is another one where you're just kind of eyeballing it to where it looks right. There we go. Right, and that's the portion we want to cut out, the white portion. Oh, I didn't have it on unmasked. Let's try that again. There. Now we have our masking we want to do for the extract. So we want to select mask, go to the menu, and adjust your shell thickness. I don't want a ton. Extract it, and there we go. Now I want to clear the mask because I don't need that for anything. So let's go back to this one, go to your select mask, and clear it, and you'll see it goes away. Whoops. Alright, so now we're going to turn off these real quick and make sure I don't have any extras, and I do. And this is because the masking still has kind of an issue, which in this case I'm not gonna worry about it too much deleting it, but you can trim all this off if you want. The bottom I am gonna trim because that's pretty rough. So we'll use the trim, and I need to turn that off. I need to be on this one. We'll turn off symmetry, use the rectangle, and we'll just slice that off. And if you want to clean it up, you can slice the top. Now you have a clean one. If you want to get rid of that inside band, you can. I'm going to leave it because that might actually be kind of a cool detail. So we'll just leave that because it's there and clean, so that's fine. Alright, so if we turn these back on, alright. Now, you can see that all looks good. Let's go ahead and add a box. Down. Whoops. What I wanted to do, bring it up. There we go. Stretch it. And we'll make a cross to put on the top. Maybe there's something in here you want to keep inside, so we'll put a cross on it. Clone that real well. You know what? We won't clone it yet. We're gonna go and trim this thing first. So let's go solo so we can see it. Go to the bottom. Now I can worry about getting this absolutely perfect. Actually, if we just expand it up, it'll be easier to trim this like we want, and we'll just shrink it back down. So come in, we'll go and validate it. I'm gonna make the mesh. Let's go somewhere in there. Keep the edges sharp. Try that again. Keep edges sharp. You see the difference if you don't do that. Let's do the trim, do the line, and symmetry. Won't do it if you got it selected already, I guess. Again. That looks good. Okay. Touch where it's right where it's at. Looks good. I don't know if that'll cut it symmetrically since it was a longer piece. So we'll do it again. There we go. Okay. Now let's clone that one. Yeah, that one's still having an issue with something. Clone it, snap. There we go. Now let's turn everything back on. Solo. We're gonna have to shrink those a lot. Grab both of those. If it will reset it to the center. Oh, it doesn't want to on those. Okay, that's fine. Shrink it down. Oh, get rid of that one. We don't need him. Still got kind of a weird bug with the gizmo tool, apparently. There we go. And, oops. Down. Touch the lid. Alright, here we go. Alright, so that's pretty good there. And if you wanted to add some more details, you can. I'm going to add a couple things in here. And we're going to go in and turn all these off. It's the easiest way to do this. So you kind of know where you're at. Makes it a lot easier. I'm going to add a cylinder. Come around to the side. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to squeeze it down. I'll go to the top. And we can go and validate it. Oh, not yet. Let's bring up the subdivision a little bit. There we go. Right there where it kind of smooths off. We'll validate it. Come in here and do the select mask. Turn off symmetry. Use the rectangle. Come right up here. That's nice having it on your grid. Turn it on mask. There. Gizmo. We'll stretch it. Just like that. We're going to make a lock. Okay. So that looks good. So you go into the mask, turn the mask off, clear it. Go back to the gizmo, stretch it out. I'm going to clone it. Squeeze this one in, make some plates. That's good. Right there. Clone that one again. Put it on the back side. There we go. Now for this one, I'm going to go ahead and just put some rivets on here real quick. Actually, we're going to do one more plate. So we'll clone that again. Bring it out. Oops. Right there. There we go. Stretch it out. This needs to be a little bit thicker. And down. that. All right, and we will bring in a torus. Add a torus. Flip it. Bring it up. Bring the size down. But I want it to be a little bit thicker. Where is it? On here, you can change the radius. This is a little bit different than yours, I think, anymore, but there we go. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing. We'll solo that one. Make it a little bit easier to see. Subdivide it. Give it a little bit more subdivision. Validate it. Select mask this one again. Same thing, rectangle. Gizmo. And we're going to use both halves of this because I need two pieces. Go to mask, clear the mask. And let's split it. Use the rectangle again. Let's see, get to a view. Split it, just like that. Now I have two pieces, which I need. We can go back, turn solo off. Now this one is the one I want to move down. Put that in the lock. That looks good. And this one, we're going to rotate it. We got the snap on. Rotate it. We have our hasp right there. Looks good. All right, now we need one more box to put in here. Let's add a box. Not what I wanted to do. Turn off the edit nodes. The edit nodes are really nice, but sometimes they do get in the way. All right, so we'll put that about right there. Looks good. And this needs to be, whoop, this needs to be bigger. Like that, something like that. And we're gonna increase subdivision on that just to round it off. It's just nice using this option to round things, makes it easier. And we'll add, I'm gonna use another box. Yeah, we'll just use another box and just cut the slot out for that, just so it's quick and easy. You can completely do something different if you would like. I'm just gonna move this up here, stretch it big. We'll use this to cut. So we need to get in there so we can see it. Let's move this down some. There we go. This one. And that should be working differently. That's still just this bug. It doesn't work quite right unless you recenter it, and I'm not going to worry about it this time. Okay, so let's go in and see if we can figure out where we got here. Box in a box. This one, turn it off. Combine those two. And the box will merge. Keep them sharp. And your box will merge is in a little bit different spot, but I'm sure you guys are familiar with where it's at. We'll just do it like that there. I'm not too worried about it being super smooth. We'll just knock if I can get to it. Just knock those hard edges down. Let's solo it and make it easier. Just kind of take the hard edge off so it looks like the rest. And once again, it does not have to be perfect unless you want it to be. Okay, solo back on. All right, now to make this look like a lock, let's combine these two, or not. You know what? I won't combine these two. We'll just do this one. I'm going to bring him out just a little bit bigger, and we'll do a lock masking on him real quick. Select mask. So let's do the rectangle first. And start here. Using that dot makes it a little bit easier to see. Oh, so you'll see that it had that grid area. I'll show you again. So you'll see here, if you see your masking, like that's fine. But if you start here, it's got that gradation. If you look at the wire, it's because it's been stretched. So what we need to do is just come up here and remesh it really easy. So remesh, there you go. Now it will do what we want to do. Go into the masking, rectangle again, get over, and this is definitely not going to be perfect. Not too worried about it. Give just a little bit right here on the end. Like that, and then we'll do ellipse. Now here, I'm going to make sure that I'm in circle and centered, and we'll just pull from right here and do a circle. Now we're going to come out here and click outside, and it'll flip your mask. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Flip your mask, grab your gizmo, and we're just going to suck this thing in until it's gone, as far as it'll go. All right, and then if we just bring this, not what I wanted to do, let's go to the mask, clear the mask, your gizmo. Oh, you know what? Actually, if we leave the mask on, now if you leave your mask and we do some paint real quick, we can paint this up. And yeah, we'll just do that black. That's perfect. Just paint this in. Now the thing we do have to do is fix the mask, because you notice, or fix the resolution, because you notice it's not painting right there very well, and that's because it needs to be remeshed again. So if we remesh, now we'll be able to paint right there. Should paint anyway. Is it not? Still not. So some of the mask is still sitting in there, it looks like. So we'll go in and go to the mask, clear the mask, and oops, and go back to paint. There we go. We'll paint it right at the top. So we'll just clean that off in just a second. Actually, so we'll go in and we'll clear the mask. Oops. Over here, go to the bottom. Let's remask that real quick, and then we'll just get it right up to the top. So if we grab the select mask, rectangle this time, we'll just mask just the very top. Now we can paint right up to the edge, and you can clean that up or just put it right to the edge if you want, but I don't want it all the way in there. Now if we tap on it inside right here, oh, go back on mask, blur this a little bit, as much as you can blur it, and you give kind of a nice soft edge in there where it's kind of shadowed in. Oh, I got a little messy out there, so let's erase that. Okay, there we go. Let's clear the mask. Clear. Now we have a nice lock and hasp. Now I'm going to grab all of this because it's going to be all of these because they're like huge. So let's shrink them down. The gizmo. You can see by the grid they were massive. So now we can turn all these on. Pull the lock out. We need to rotate everything. So we got our pivot on. And now we will come in and change that a little bit. We need to rotate it, so we need to turn snapping off. So get your view right, turn your snapping off, rotate it until it fits right where you want it. You can clean those ends off if you want. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Now let's increase the size a little bit, make that a little bit bigger. I like that. That looks good right there. All right, so I'm going to clone that whole set, but before I do, come out a little bit. There we go. So on yours, it's going to be up here, and it'll be, instead of join, it'll be simple merge down here. So just simple merge it. I'm just going to join mine, because you can always come in and separate yours, separate buttons in a different spot. But it's easier to do this because now I can clone it, and we will put another one right up here so it's got 2 locks. There we go. 2 locks. And then on this side, I'll put some heavy hinges, which are super easy to make. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to come in here and just turn all this off. And I do that instead of going solo because with a hinge you can have multiple pieces. So we want to be, let's get to the front and unselect that. And then it'll go away eventually. There we go. Where's the grid? There we go. All right, come in here. We're going to add a cylinder. We're going to come up and subdivide it. I'm going to clone it. Bring it up. Clone it again. Take it down. And this one we'll clone again. We're going to stretch it and shrink it a little bit. Oh, what happened there? Supposed to use this one. There we go. Shrink it down a little. Now you get a nice hinge. Oh, that one didn't clone. Clone it. There we go. Now we got it. Bring it up a little bit more. Make it a little more. I'll just get it so it's set like you like. Alright. So nice heavy hinges. And if you want, we'll put a cap on the ends of those. Let's grab this. Actually, let's go ahead and add a sphere. Put this up here and squeeze it down. There we go. We'll clone that one. Bring it down. Put those right like that. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, so come in here and we can go and validate all these. It's fine. Validate all those. Let's grab all these and just on yours, simple merge. I'm going to join mine. I'm going to shrink it way down. Turn everything back on. You can see we're obviously still a little massive. I'm going to make it a little cartoony-ish. Bring it in, and just a matter of just adjusting it. Okay, so that's it. That's just kind of a basic coffin, and you guys can totally detail this up with more rivets and all kinds of extra stuff, which I'll probably do a little bit later myself. If you guys are liking these videos, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. All right, thanks.